Yeah, it was definitely satisfying. I mean, anytime you win, it's obviously satisfying. But I had some good guys around me. Austin and Kyle raced clean, and for the most part, I've never had really any big issues with those guys. So I mean, it's you come to a track like this, it's pretty easy to just blow the corner and knock the guy out of the way in front of you. No matter, it's just easy to do. So thankful they didn't do that. They gave me a lap to get going, and obviously, we were fast enough to drive away from them.
Over the years, you and Kyle might have gotten along the best or raced each other the best of all the JGR teammates. Like you guys seem to get it with each other. And I was kind of like on that restart, I was kind of like, ooh, are things going to change now? Did that go through your head at all? Like, were you worried that he would race you any differently now that you're not on the same team?
No, I never thought about it once. We had a really good race in our heat race today, and we talked about it after, and it was like, hey, that was pretty fun. We put on a little bit of a show for a heat race. Run side by side for the lead and swap it back and forth 2 or 3 times. So, we've raced together for a long time. We understand the sport. I've got a ton of respect for Kyle, obviously, and I feel like he's one of the guys that gives it back to me. And it goes all the way back to '04 when we ran for a championship against each other, and we probably didn't get along very well then, or we didn't cut each other many breaks back then. But I think we've all grown up around the sport and raced together a lot, and understand that we're going to be racing together a lot, and it's a lot easier to do things the right way and have that respect.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. Your crew chief, James Small, said that you're different this offseason. I'm wondering if you are different, and if so, how?
Mad.
Because of last year?
Yeah.
Which leads
just just determined, and just have a lot of fire in my belly to go out and change what we did last year. We had if you look at all the statistics, we had a decent year. We were consistent. We scored a lot of points. We struggled on short tracks and road courses, which ultimately is what kept us out of the playoffs. But just so many times that we felt like we were doing the right things and probably should have won a couple races, and they got away from us. That was very, very frustrating. Knowing that we were, doing everything we needed to do to win, it sucked. So just wanting to go out and show them what we can do. We've been very fired up this offseason, working very hard, all of us. And, it's just nice when it all works out and you can come to the track and things go the way you hope they will. And hopefully we can do a lot more of that. We got a lot going on good in our camp at Toyota. I got a great team. I knew they were great last year, and, we'll just see how far we can go. But I feel really good about things. So fired up and excited. And it's just a good feeling to be able to win a race. And, even though it's not points or anything, it's good momentum.
You kind of touched on it there, but is this a statement in some way?
No, I just think for us it makes us, it reminds us that, yeah, we're doing the right stuff, and we can still go out and win any given weekend. And we felt that way last year, but it never happened. So you always get those questions, right? Like, are we fooling ourselves or whatever? But it's just always nice when you can finish the deal. And racing's funny, like we didn't really change anything the way we do stuff. We just, try to focus and buckle down and say, okay, these are the things we got to look at and work on, and that's what we did. And we had a little fortune tonight. The 41 was really strong. He had some issues, and we've certainly been in that position a lot as well. So, not sure how that would have worked out if he didn't have issues. He was really strong, and then the restarts just worked our way. And I was having tons of brake issues all night and throughout the second half of the race, so just lucky to be able to put it all together and hang on those restarts for sure with the brake issues I was having.
Go to Zach.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. Martin, kind of along those same lines, what can a win like this, despite it being an exhibition race, do as far as momentum to carry into Daytona and to start this season on the right foot?
It's huge. I mean, it's a huge confidence booster. It just reminds you that you're doing the right stuff. And, honestly, we were probably the worst car here last year, literally, besides maybe the guys that didn't have charters. I mean, we were just god-awful, and we barely made the race, rode around in the back, and, I spun out by myself on the last lap. It was so bad, trying to pass one car. And, to come back here this year and be first in practice and, I was honestly really nervous. Last night I went to bed thinking today was going to suck. It was going to be a long day because it's going to be hard to pass, and we were starting sixth in our heat on the outside. They only take 5. It's like, well, if you finish 5th, you're still going to suck in the race because you're going to start 20th, So to be able to drive up through the field in the heat and win that was just huge. It was a huge confidence builder, and I knew that after that, if we could just be smart tonight and stay up front all night, we'd have a shot at it. But yeah, it's a big deal. Any of these races are hard to win. All of them are hard to win. Doesn't matter if there's points or not. So we're proud of this one. It's a big deal.
Go right here.
Alan Basiahi, Eagle Broadcasting Net 25. At or about 24 laps left to go is when you took the lead, and despite a lot of restarts, really fought off the pack. Can you take us through what you were going through mentally and emotionally when you dropped the hammer? And also, now that you won this tight quarter-mile track, do you feel more confident driving through LA traffic?
LA traffic's no problem. It's just like Jersey traffic, but I hate traffic. I hate all of it. If I see it, I'm like, it sucks. I just want to hide, pull off the road, but drive through them. But on the restarts at the end, it's like it's frustrating when you got a big lead, and then like the 34 was trying to get off. He rode around like at 10 miles an hour for 3 or 4 laps. He should have just got off the damn track. You know what I mean? Obviously, he wasn't going to finish the race, so why was he just riding around? So that was frustrating. And then the other stuff, it's just guys getting into each other on a tiny little track and getting spun out and things. So the restarts, you're just trying to get a good jump and then not screw it up. Like I said earlier, I was having lots of brake issues. I'm not sure what was going on. Our rear brakes got too hot, or we did something and we lost all our rear braking. And I started locking up front tires getting in the corner, and I just kept putting more rear brake in. And I was about to be out of adjustment. I've never, ever in my whole entire career put that many rounds of rear brake in a car. So I was a little nervous about that, and I was kind of locking up all 4 tires, getting in the corner and just trying to make the corner. So it was a little sketchy at the end, but everybody was out of tires, and we had so many restarts and so much air in our tires that everybody just kind of was slipping and sliding. So luckily, I was just able to get a good enough jump and get cleared, and then just try not to give it away and totally miss a corner.
Go right here.
Jerry Chang on Pepperdine Media. This is a very exciting event, even though it's preseason. What does it mean to you that you're participating in this event?
It's fun to come here, but it's a lot more fun to win it. Last year wasn't all that fun, so this weekend was a blast.
Earlier, you also said you're more determined. Is there any event that you have sort of a checklist so far this season?
We'd like to win them all. We're 1 for 1 right now, so that's a good way to start. Daytona 500 is a huge race. It's the biggest race of the year for us, and go there with momentum's great. Been really close there before. It'd be an awesome one to check off the list.
For the last row here.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And apart from all the hard driving and hard work you put in today, just over the couple of days in preparation, even Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, culminating today, your vibration, your thought, your perspective on the fans that turned out for the event tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. It's a different venue for us, and it's kind of got a different vibe with all the things going on and the history around this place, and like giving away the medals and doing the podium, and it's a unique event. It's a one-off deal, and it's it's fun. We've done the Clash for a long time, and it's never really been kind of hyped up like it is now, being its own standalone event, and I think that's really neat, especially doing it somewhere totally different like here with a lot of history. So it was definitely it's definitely a lot of fun, and hopefully the fans keep supporting it and coming out, and there's no telling what we can make this thing into.
The question upstairs.
Luis Torres, the podium finish. Congratulations, Martin. With you being competitive this time around, did it in any way remind you of the Busch North days back then, where the beating and banging on a short tracks like these?
Yeah, it was funny. After Victory Lane, I was like, I've raced a lot of races that are 150 laps, because most of our races back then were 150s, right? And I don't ever remember one taking that long. So that felt like a 400-mile race. Like, it was forever and ever. Caution and caution, caution. So, yeah, we raced on a lot of tracks there was a lot of beating and banging like that, especially for me up front on those restarts. How many times we kind of go back and forth, and It definitely reminded me a lot of those short tracks back in those days, but not really taking each other out, just running hard, rubbing a lot, and kind of getting out of shape. It was a ton of fun.
I believe there's another one upstairs.
Hey, Martin, Jenna Fryer, congratulations. You've said a couple times you had fun tonight. In the moment, the way that race was, as choppy as it was, the beating and the banging, is that fun?
When you're not getting spun around, turn around backwards, yes. You know, when you're up front and you're just kind of, you know, banging and beating and, you know, guys are sliding into the corner, making mistakes and all that, that's fun. It's no fun when you just get run over and turned around, which I feel like is a lot of what was going on with all the cautions. Luckily, we weren't involved in that. We had a few instances where it got close, but we were able to hang on. So, yeah. It's always fun to be up front and have a shot at the win.
Had you not won, would you still think it's fun?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if I would have finished up front, which there was a lot of points in the race where I felt like I didn't really have the car where I needed it to be to win, and I was still enjoying it. So to answer your question, yeah, as long as, nothing, really stupid happened, I think I would have had fun most of the time.
Come back down here with Michael and then Jordan.
Michael Massey, front stretch. You mentioned Ryan Preece, 41 car, kind of being the only one that gave you a run for your money, pretty much. How shocking was that to see, a driver you didn't race against last year, a car that's not typically up there, be the one that's like you're struggling to track down?
I'm not shocked at all, really. I mean, he's a great short track driver. Won tons of short track races, modifieds, et cetera. He's run a lot of races on tracks like this or similar to this, so I wasn't surprised at all. And I've raced with him before, and he's in really probably better equipment now than he's ever been, and I'm sure he's got a really good team. So I wasn't surprised. And at that point in the race, I felt like my car was off. And when he got the lead from us there, he didn't get the lead from me. I think I was second at the time. He got by me on a restart, then got the lead. So he was just really strong at that point in the race, and I didn't feel like my car was that good. For whatever reason, the second half of the race, it really took a long, long time for my car to get going, which it's kind of been that way all weekend, but it felt like the second half of the race was even more so. I think just because it was cooling off outside and the track temp was dropping, it was taking longer to come in. And, we were starting to get real equal to him, maybe a little bit faster when he started having his issues. So no telling what would have happened, but it was fun to race with him. He's a great kid, and he's a great talent.
Okay, we'll take two more. We'll go to Jordan and then wrap up upstairs.
Could this race be a points race here?
No. How you going to put all the cars out there? How you going to do pit stops?
Bristol, you don't have pit stops.
It's dirt. Different. I mean, I don't know. I don't think we can get 36 cars. You going to put 36 cars out there? 38? Hell yeah. I think you do. What? Maybe somebody doesn't think you do. I don't make those decisions, but, in my opinion, I don't think it should be. But it's such a great event. Why would you want to screw it up and make it a points race? You know what I mean? It's like a one-off deal. The Clash used to, since I've been doing it, it just kind of got boring, from back in the day when it was just pole winners from last year. Then it was, champions, and then it was, everybody that made the playoffs, and it just got all weird, right? And now this is really cool. It's got its own identity, fun race, all the way out here in a cool, venue that's got a lot of history. So I don't know. I think it's kind of got a good vibe to it now. Let's not maybe screw that up. And we have enough points races. How many are we going to have? Where are you going to take it from? No. Fontana's awesome. They'll figure somewhere out to go. Maybe.
And we'll close it out upstairs.
Sorry.
Nick Charles Curry, Annenberg Media. You mentioned track temps when talking about Preece. How much of a difference do you think that it taking longer for tires to come in the second half? How much of a contribution do you think that was to all the chaos in those first 10 laps?
Yeah, I would say that it was probably a big factor. The restarts. I felt like I was John Force out there all night, just smoking the rear tires. During the cautions, 2 or 3 times every straightaway, just trying to keep them warm. And everybody was doing that because you know, the tire's so hard, the track's, you know, brand new pavement. It does not, these tires don't like to cool off. So, yeah, I would say that's a lot of it. You're just sliding so bad on restarts that, you know, guys will get in the corner and can't, you know, they're locking the brakes. They can't turn. They can't get the rear to hook up. So they're just sliding into each other. And that was, I'm sure, a big factor. Daytime racing probably would have been a little bit less as far as cautions go, I think.